any major city, New York, Chicago, LA, Dallas, Houston, get off your lazy ass and go get a job.
What's up, everybody? We got former trucker Joe here. How are we doing, brother?
Great, Elvis. How you doing?
Hey, living the dream.
Yes, sir.
Tell me this, man. How long have you drove trucks?
On and off 31 years.
Yeah. What's the toughest part about it?
Everything. All of it's tough. There is nothing easy about it. You're away from home. You got to drive in the rain. You got to drive in the snow. Drive on the ice. Pray to God that somebody doesn't do something stupid in front of you, and you have no way out, like we see all the time now with all these viral videos of these massive wrecks that we never used to have. You hardly ever heard of one of these because we all had CB radios. Every one of us. We talked to each other. Somebody had a bad day or drove off the road, or things came to a stop. Somebody get on the radio, scream, brake check. And everybody knew to start looking for what was ahead. And if there was a wreck, they'd say, northbound would say, hey, southbound, you got a wreck in front of you, better back it down. Everybody's too involved in their phones today.
You think CBs are still useful?
I think CBs would save lives, and that's no exaggeration.
What was your CB handle? Sleepy Joe?
No. I really didn't have one. Smokey and the Bandit was cool. It's a great movie, but that's what it was a movie. Some guys had handles, some guys just talked, and they really didn't have handles.
Do you believe there's a driver shortage?
There is a shortage of good drivers, yes.
Yeah.
There definitely is that. Is there a for real shortage of drivers? That's argumentative. But there is a good driver shortage, that there is.
Can't be a driver shortage with all these drivers they let in the country and them HB1 visas and all that. You see that new advertisement down the road? 14 days gets you your CDL.
Yeah.
How long it take to get yours? Because back in my day, it was a chauffeur's license.
You're right. It was a chauffeur's license, and that was pre-CDL when I got mine. And yeah, it took me 90 days.
90?
Yes, it took me 90 days.
Do you feel that was enough?
No.
How long should it take to get a CDL?
With proper training, anywhere from 6 months to a year, because there's so much. Just all my truck driving school, and this was 1989. All they taught me was how to blindside back, how to parallel park, how to seaside or driver side back, how to go forward and how to go backwards in a straight line. That's all they taught me. They didn't teach me, other than the basics of school stuff of your logbook. That was the one thing they did teach. But other than that, they really didn't teach all of that. It was just enough to get me to a point where I could pass the road test. Then the rest of it was up to the company that hired me to teach me.
So do you think the new drivers would survive back in the day?
Oh, definitely not.
Why is that? What's the difference between trucking now and when you started?
When I started, you got in your truck and you went. You didn't stop. You didn't stop for 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there. None of that. But then you also didn't have the distractions. You didn't have a tablet where you were watching a movie. You didn't have a cell phone in your truck. If you needed to call and talk to your dispatcher, you went to the next rest area or the next truck stop, and there was a bank of payphones that you walked up to and you'd call. Hey, do you have anything for me yet? No. Okay, I'll go to the next truck stop. Or it was great. I love that place. Or, are you kidding me? I hate that place. Yeah. It's not like it is today. Load board was a screen on a television set in the truck stop. That was the load board. And that's where you got a lot of your loads from, was up there.
I remember those days.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, things have changed.
Yeah.
No GPS when I was using the Atlas and all that. Things have changed, man. They rely on the GPS too much nowadays. That's the problem. The GPS takes you on a non-truck route. Now you get yourself in a sticky situation.
Okay, here's the difference, though. is you're right, but at the same time, if you're using a trucker GPS that knows truck routes, you'll do a whole lot better than using Google Maps on your cell phone. Because I promise you, Google Maps doesn't understand what a tractor trailer is. Not at all.
I ain't trusting it, Joe. I need my atlas and my compass.
Well, I don't know about the compass, but a great atlas, you can never go wrong.
Real driver needs a compass too. So you've been out there a while. You've took part in back in the day. You took part in the current trucking situation.
Yep.
What's the most miles possible in one day? Is 1,800 a stretch? Is it possible?
Anything's possible.
Yeah.
But you're asked, do you want me to do it legally or illegally?
Well, back in the day, what's the
Back in the
max?
day, yeah, you could probably pull 1,800 miles.
How long?
How long? In 24-hour period. But it's not going to be a quick trip, and you're going to be tired as all get out by the time you get there.
Yeah.
I mean, heck, I came out of Houston and Port of Houston in the early 90s running paper logs, and 2 days later, roughly, well, we'll go with that because it's video. 2 days later, I was in New Jersey. Actually, it was sooner than that, but we'll leave that alone.
So you're the reason they invented the ELD.
No,
and now you're in the
no,
safety department.
no.
Would you look at that? See how the tables turn, Joe? You're
Yeah.
part of the problem.
What's part of the problem?
All that running and all that.
Yeah, that was part of it, but the dispatchers had a lot to do with it too.
Yeah.
That's
What
being
was the
honest.
mileage pay in the 90s?
Let's see, anywhere from 10 to 15 cents a mile. If you were getting 20, you were living high on the hog.
And well, how much was fuel?
Oh, fuel was 75, 85 cents a gallon. I saw it as much as $1. And you used to be able to go onto the reservations and get it real cheap because it was tax-free there.
Shoot, if I knew you'd run for 15 cents a mile, I would have been hired you a long time ago.
No, not today.
Oh,
Not today. And truly, trucking wages is still too low.
yeah. So running like that, have you ever seen the Black Dog?
Have I ever seen the Black Dog? No. I've seen the movie.
Is it a real thing? A lot of guys say
White
they've
line
seen it.
fever is a real thing.
What's that?
White line fever, that's when you get so fixated on that white line, that fog line, that it puts you to sleep. And then the next thing you know, you're crossing that fog line and you're into the trees or off into a field.
So that you would be stuck in them ditches, huh? Is that what you're saying?
No, you'd probably be dead. It's not a pretty sight. It's really not. I've seen too many wrecks over the years.
So how were people driving for 24 hours straight? Was there any substance abuse going on? Was it coffee?
If coffee's a substance, then yeah, coffee, Pepsi, that got abused real bad. I never saw. I'm sure it happened. I've heard of it happening. You read about it in the newspaper, but I personally never experienced anybody that was high on anything other than coffee and Pepsi.
What about the toothpicks? What are toothpicks?
My understanding from what I've heard is you used to be able to get toothpicks that have been laced with different illegal things. I personally never experienced it.
So those damn bull haulers, ain't it?
It's some bull something haulers.
What would you say is the problem with the trucking industry, and what's one thing you would change about it?
Just one thing I'd change.
Yeah. First thing.
The first thing, how about we get a bunch of intelligent truck drivers to sit down and actually write a real set of rules rather than a bunch of politicians that have never driven a tractor trailer, let alone barely been by one as they're riding in their limousine. They don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
Just look at the FMCSA regs. I have to enforce them now. Some of them don't make any sense, but those are the rules and I have to enforce them.
They keep coming out with new rules and regulations every year.
Every year. And this year's going to be fun.
Yep. But eventually they'll back off our backs, right?
No,
No?
no. They'll never stop. Not until they get what they ultimately want, and that's autonomous trucks. That's what their goal is.
You believe in those?
No,
No.
because there's things that a human can do that AI cannot do. No matter how hard they try. I'm sure there's somebody that's going to be able to figure it out, but for right now, I think we still got at least 10 or 20 years before AI trucks are officially on the road and drivers are starting to be put out of jobs. Until then, we've always got a job. We've always got a seat open for you here at MTS.
Well, we ain't got no trucks open, but
We'll find one,
yeah.
won't
We
we?
ain't lying. We'll make something
We
happen.
will find one somehow.
How do you feel about all the flip-flop drivers?
Flip-flops. Okay, so the flip-flops, yeah, y'all need to go home. Go back to flipping burgers, working at the Quickie Mart, whatever you were doing. You're making yourself look bad and the industry look worse. You're not doing yourself, and what a great way to lose a foot. Sometimes we have to wear safety shoes at some of these locations for a reason. If you show up in your flip-flops, you're going to get thrown out and banned.
So what should they be wearing?
At the very least, some type of closed-toed shoe. But if you're like running flatbed and you're going into some of these steel mills or aluminum plants or something like that, you better have safety shoes.
Yeah, that's where I wear my boots. Out of all the places in America, what city has the worst drivers?
All of them.
There's got to be
All of them.
There's got to be a top 3.
Okay, any big city in the country. How about that? Any major city. New York, Chicago, LA, Dallas, Houston. I'm not going to pick one. I'm not going to single out one because all y'all are playing on your phone. You're not watching the road. And then you wonder why a tractor trailer just drove over the top of you.
Not in Jacksonville. We got the best drivers here.
No, we have the best drivers at MTS.
Yeah.
Not on 295.
Now, what's one thing you see drivers doing on the road that just makes you shake your head?
Just one thing. Well, there's the guy that's sitting there. He's trying to text on his phone, knowing that it's a hands-free state, and then he can't figure out why he's wiggling back and forth like this. Let's see. Then there's the asshole who has to drive up on you with his high beams on because he has to see. It doesn't matter that you can't see because of him. It's that he has to see. What he's trying to see, I don't know. Then you get people that have to try to drive with their knees. You're riding down the road with their foot up on the dash. There is no sense, common or otherwise. There's just no sense with people out there today. And then they wonder why they get wrapped up with a tractor trailer. In some cases, it's the tractor trailer driver's fault. But I don't think the tractor trailer drivers. Why do you think we have to have dash cams in these trucks now? Protect us from them.
You ain't lying. It's always the trucker's fault.
Oh, that's right.
That's why I got out of it.
I'm sure you did. I can believe that.
Who's the harder worker, new generation or old generation?
Old generation.
Can you explain why?
Because if I have to, I can get in a truck right now, legally drive to Atlanta, turn around and come all the way back. And unless I got to stop to use the restroom, I'm not going to stop. I don't know any of these new generation truckers that can make, let's see, that's 350, we'll call it a 700-mile round trip without it having to make at least 6 stops.
So you wouldn't stop at that TA?
No, I'm going to make sure I got plenty of fuel before I get there.
No, I agree, man. These new young kids out here, they wouldn't last back in my day.
Oh, I know. Back in your day,
Yeah, things were a whole lot different.
that
now.
was I know that was a whole 20 minutes ago for you, wasn't it? I just watched a video on X where this lady's sitting there and she's telling people she's looking right at the camera, going, "Get off your lazy ass and go get a job." Just like that, man.
Are
she's
they
on her-
listening?
No, they're not
Exactly,
listening.
man. This new young kids, they ain't trying to work
Absolutely.
worth a damn.
That's right.
Back in my day, all we knew was hard work.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
Shoot, no days off.
Yeah.
Holidays we worked. I ain't even take a lunch break back in the 80s.
My wedding anniversary, I've been in a truck. Christmas, I've been in a truck. Christmas Eve, Thanksgiving. You pick a holiday, and I've spent at least one of those holidays in a truck. When everybody else is popping off fireworks, flipping burgers, eating hot dogs, whatever the case is, I've been in a
Joe
truck.
was
and
out
there's
there
been
turning and burning.
Yeah, exactly. I was turning and burning it because the freight had to move. Did I want to be? No, I wanted to be home with my family. But in order to have that home, I had to go make the money to pay for that home. I'm in Arkansas, actually Texarkana, and it's Thanksgiving. And almost got the last Thanksgiving present. Good-looking woman comes up. She's nicely dressed, knocks on the door. I roll the window down, and she goes, "Would y'all like some company?" And I thought for a second, and something didn't feel right. So and not that I would have anyway, I just said, "No, thank you." Well, she goes to the truck next to me, knocks on the door, and he said yes. As the door comes open, here comes all these cars with flashing blue lights swarming down around this other cat. I got to go down the road. He got to go to jail.
So it was an inside operation.
It was a sting operation.
Could have been you, Joe.
Nah, no.
How you think that driver felt?
I don't know. I didn't stick around long enough to ask him.
Yeah, it couldn't be a good feeling.
But I know when he went and got in the car in his pretty little bracelets and underwear, and that's all that he was wearing.
See, and now what if the trailer's loaded? See, he's worried about dropping off the wrong load. That's the problem.
That's right. See if he'd been paying attention to doing his job. And imagine if he had to call his wife and say, "Honey, I just got arrested."
What's she gonna ask?
What would you get arrested for? Well, I kind of propositioned a hooker, or that turned out to be a cop. Yeah, that's real good for a marriage. That's going to make a marriage end real quick.
So what's the difference between driving the truck and working out the office now?
Oh, it's a real culture shock for me personally. I'm home every night, which is great. I get to see my wife every night, which is absolutely amazing. And I get to work with a really great bunch of people.
Even me.
Like I said, a really great bunch of people.
Not to name them or nothing.
No, I don't want to embarrass anybody.
You don't want to.
No.
What's it called? Expose me.
No.
It's all for the TikTok. I'm nice on TikTok.
Yes, you are.
Well, all right, brother. Well, thank you for joining the team.
Man, it's
Y'all
great
want
to
to
be
see more
here.
of Joe? Y'all comment down below. Other than that, thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, buy some merch, show some support. We'll catch y'all on the next one.